What's up, Spartans? I'm Dr. L, your Chief Mind Doc here with Spartan Mind, where I'm here every Wednesday helping you work through and clear out that junk in your head so that you can perform better on the race course and just generally in life, because you're going to do that when you don't have all this cloudiness up here, all right? Okay, today we are dedicating an entire episode to just one emotion, anger. I know, you might be thinking, what? A whole 4 minutes dedicated to anger? Yes, I'm telling you, it is worth it, okay? Because we as a society are not very good at handling anger. One of the reasons is we think of anger as a negative emotion. And let me be really clear here. Anger is a neutral emotion. It's what we do with anger that either makes it positive or negative. People have been enraged and done really great things with that rage, right? They've marched for different rights. They've advocated for different things because they're really angry about it. Good stuff. Other people have done not such great things with anger, right? And become destructive or become really aggressive because of anger. That's how anger can become negative, right? So you can use anger to propel you in a positive way or to propel you in a negative way, but it's not a negative emotion. And a lot of people believe it's a negative emotion, and therefore they're either afraid of it or they deny they have it altogether. And if you're listening on this podcast right now and you're thinking, well, I just don't really get angry, that is a load of bull. You absolutely do. And if you're a female out there and you say to yourself, well, I don't get angry, I just get frustrated. Nope, that's society's watered down version of angry, because it's not okay for women to be angry because they're identified as hysterical. So let's be really clear here. Anger is a completely normal emotion for a human to have. And it's really important that you use the right language around it, okay? That if you're angry, you acknowledge being angry. You don't water it down with frustrated or irritated, okay? Now, I'm going to walk you through 4 responses that human beings typically have to being angry. The first is they become aggressive, right? And that's just anger being unleashed. The second is what's called passive aggressiveness, where you're outwardly agreeable, but indirectly you're still unleashing that anger. The third is just passive, and that's where you're storing up and stockpiling that anger. And the fourth is assertive, and that's where you're appropriately managing and working through your anger, okay? And communicating it to whatever individual it is that maybe you might be angry at, or communicating with somebody about the anger that you feel. So there's a few things that I want you to consider when it comes to the emotion of anger. The first is, what judgments do you have about anger? How was anger handled in your own family of origin? What did you grow up seeing as it relates to anger, right? And how has that shaped and formed your own perception of anger today? The second is, I want you to really do a body scan and think about, what does anger feel like in my body? Our body is an incredibly wise vessel, and often emotions show up for us physically before we actually know consciously what they are. But if you're tuned into your body sensations, you're going to become more aware of what anger feels like for you. When I get angry, I get really tense. Like my whole body just tightens up like a really, taut muscle, okay? But what does anger feel like to you? How does it show up in your body? All right. The third thing I want you to think about, and this goes back to what I talked about earlier, is what language are you using around anger, because saying you're angry makes you uncomfortable. Like I said earlier, are you using the word frustrated? Are you using the word irritated? Are you using the word annoyed? When really, you should be using the word angry. And again, it's okay to use that word. The more you shy away from it, the more that you're going to confuse the people around you how it really is that you feel. It's okay to be angry. The fourth thing that I want you to think about when we're talking about handling anger is, what tactics can you use to become more emotionally in tune and become more well-versed in managing your anger. And I'm going to refer to 2 previous podcasts that I did on emotions. The first one, which I think was our very first episode, is how to increase your emotional acuity, right? Working through that podcast, you're going to learn, how do you become more comfortable with your own emotions? The second podcast episode is the one where we talk about how do you handle painful emotions. And this is where we learned the tactic of the stop technique, right? Stop, take a deep breath, observe, pull back, and then proceed with the next right move, okay? So if you're angry and you use that method, you can begin to manage that anger a little bit more so that that anger is not driving all of your choices, but so you're also not completely denying it and ignoring it and putting it away in the cupboard where eventually it's gonna creep up on you later, okay? So that's handling your anger. How about that, Spartans? One emotion for an entire episode. Yay, you stuck with me. All right, now I want to make sure that you're aware of all of the awesome things that we've got going on in this Spartan podcast stratosphere. We have episodes for you daily that are going to walk you through the very best things that you need for mind, body, and soul resilience. We're talking about Tuesday's flagship episode, Spartan Mind on Wednesday, Spartan Habits on Thursday, Spartan Athlete on Friday. We've got everything you need to build up your mental toughness, to build up your physical resilience so that you can overcome those obstacles and be the Spartan that I know you want to be. I'll see you next week.